Hi again then guys, and welcome to another review of a single vehicle, of course, from the first Test Drive Unlimited game once again, another bike on this occasion, and this is a bike which I'm sure many of you who played the game as well used a lot. I know I certainly did. Now I may be wrong, but if my memory serves me correctly, I think this was actually one of the earliest bikes you could get in the game. It's an MB category vehicle, or motorbike level B, and overall, there's a pretty strong argument to be said that it's the best B-class motorbike you can get. And one of the reasons why is because this bike does an excellent job of mixing what you would typically expect from a city bike in terms of advantages, such as lower weight, better maneuverability, and a lower price, with the advantages of a sport bike. The full fairing, it looks better, it's got a good top speed compared to a city bike, and also has really good all-round ability, whereas city bikes tend to be focused pretty much purely on the handling and acceleration, not so much on top end. This has that as well. Now, all of the bikes can of course go beyond what they say the top speed is, because you can tuck down that little bit lower and get maybe 5 or 10 extra miles per hour out of it. Something like the DLC Kawasaki ZX-12R, for instance, could get up around, I think it was 225 miles per hour or so. The ZX-10R that's in the game does something like 210, if I recall correctly, and you can check out in the video that I did what that top speed was. This one can also go further than its specs would suggest. The specs are more like in the 130 region. You can get it over 140 if you tuck down, so again, it's not going to break the bank as far as sport bikes go, but that's not really the point, because one of the best things about this is the price. It's actually one of the cheapest vehicles in the whole game, just under 11,000 credits, which for a car would be ridiculous, but for a bike, of course, that makes sense. Again, great rival to those city bikes, but it's got the full fairing. It has that style of a sport bike that, if you're into that, you'll doubtless prefer. I know I do. I'm more of a sport bike, full fairing kind of guy than I am a naked city bike fan. I've never been a huge fan of like the Triumph Speed Triple, Ducati Monsters, MV Agusta Brutale. It's not really my style. I do prefer full fairing bikes, and in the real world, city bikes have a lot of advantages, but in the game, of course, it's more about the pure performance, and this one actually has that in surprising amounts. Now, the engine is a 1 litre, as the name suggests, the 1000 DS. It's a 992cc V-twin, and it's not the most powerful or the torquiest thing around, but it's actually pretty thumpy for what it is. 95 horsepower, 70 pound-feet of torque, and considering that it only weighs 180 kilos, that's actually a really good level to be working with. Now, in terms of the kind of use that you can get out of this bike if you do choose to buy one, well, it's one of those vehicles that kind of goes without saying that I would definitely recommend picking it up, because it's just so useful. You can do so much with the bike, it's excellent in motorbike career mode events, and it's such a reliable option. It's just a bike that does everything you need it to do. It's not the kind of thing that you'll end up riding once you get the bigger bikes, because those will be more exciting options like MV Agusta, Ducati 999R, etc. But for what it is at that point in the game, it's brilliant. It's one of the best options. It's some of the best fun, or some of the most fun even, that you can have at this kind of level in the game, certainly for this price. And although the top speed of just over 140, of course, is not going to worry most of the sports cars beyond, what, an Audi TT Quattro maybe, the acceleration, on the other hand, is really good, around 3 seconds, so supercar territory. And of course, that's one of the main advantages of any bike. In a bike versus cars game, they always have better acceleration in terms of bang for buck. So this one has that. It has better top speed than a lot of the city bikes, especially when you tune it. The handling is very good, and as you saw from the starting point of the video in particular, weaving through oncoming traffic, it's fantastic. And typically, that is harder to do on a bigger, more powerful bike, because they are physically larger, they're heavier, less maneuverable, and you're going a lot faster, of course, which makes a difference. This one feels like a city bike in terms of handling. It's nimble, it's compact, it's light, it's a fairly narrow bike as well, which is good for weaving through traffic, but the top speed, as I said, because of the aerodynamics of the full fairing and the style of the bike, it is a bit higher in terms of top speed than those city bikes are. So all round, it's just a great little bike. Not the most exciting option, but a lot of fun for a dirt cheap price. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was a bike that I got a ton of use of. in career mode when I first played through the game. So it goes without saying, of course I recommend checking out the 1000 DS. It's one of those bikes that tends to get overlooked and forgotten because it's not the most exciting thing around. It's a workhorse as far as the game goes, and if I remember correctly again, I think it was in Midnight Club as well, in Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, and I believe it was one of the best bikes in a similar way for that price to ability ratio of what it could give you for such a low price, and also that you could actually access the bike pretty early on compared to some others. So for that, it's a great little workhorse, does exactly what you need it to do, and it's just that little bit more exotic than some of the city bikes from Triumph or even Kawasaki or Ducati or MV Agusta. So overall, great little bike, fantastic option, check it out. But that's it overall for this particular vid. Of course, it's always great to go back to these older games that we used to play a lot, maybe you don't play it so much, to feature some of the cool vehicles that were not featured in later games. And this one, of course, was not carried over to Test Drive Unlimited 2. In fact, most other bikes weren't carried over. But overall, that's it for this vid. Of course, I will see you guys next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.